Hey everyone, we're in the home stretch now, last week. Uh, so today we're going to talk about PowerPoint, and I would have used a font for PowerPoint with the like dripping blood that you get on Windows. I think that's standard on Windows or something that's on like a bunch of computers where it's like the creepy font because uh, PowerPoint is kind of evil. So, but I used this one instead because I want to get the point across that PowerPoint is evil. In fact, so many people have uh, felt that way that death by PowerPoint is a commonly used phrase, and so this is a cartoon about death by PowerPoint. But why? Why is PowerPoint so bad, and why do we use it if it's so bad? Well, that's a it's a bit of a complex question to ask, and I know if you've been in business before coming to this program, you probably understand why. But if you haven't, I'm going to give you some examples of why. And this is one of them. This is an actual Microsoft slide from a presentation. So what are they trying to say in the slide? I don't know. They got a bunch of products, right? And then there's this one that's General McChrystal about this is the Afghan war strategy right here. Pretty simple, right? But most of all, you've probably seen presentations like this and slides like this, and they pretty much bore you to tears, and you're like, oh my god, when is this guy going to be done? And hopefully you haven't been that way with these videos. I'm trying my best. Uh, so we've seen, if you've seen a lot of presentations, you've probably seen a lot of bad presentations because most of them are really waste of time. And that is possible because PowerPoint and its cousin Keynote make it so easy to be bad. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about here. Your audience should not be bored. That's kind of even if you're talking about something that's boring, you don't have to fill up that space as long as it takes to make the audience bored. Edward Tufte has a great quote about that. Audience boredom is usually a content failure, not a decoration failure. And I read this to you just to reinforce it. Um, People think that the best presentations are the ones that look the nicest, and they're really not. They're the ones that deliver the message the best. And to deliver the message the best, you have to keep the audience engaged with your theme and getting them to pay attention to the theme to understand what's going on. And yet, when people are preparing for presentations, they're spending so much time on transitions and art and element sound effects and all this other stuff that's just not necessary, and spending almost no time on the direction of the flow of the argument. Um, and so you'll see in this presentation specifically, I'm talking about PowerPoint, but I'm not actually showing you how to put anything into PowerPoint. I'm giving you general principles. One, because uh, many of you have exposure to PowerPoint already, and that's kind of below your level. But two, it's just not really the most important part of presenting. So Tufte wrote this book called The Visual Display of Quantitative Information, and he's written a bunch of books, but this one that's fantastic. Uh, and it deals a lot, excuse me, it deals a lot with uh, how to minimize the amount of junk in your images so that you're giving somebody most useful information in the smallest amount of brain space. And really, the standard business world PowerPoint presentation does just the opposite. It bloats messages with clip art and long-winded bullet point slides that you don't need in order to deliver the information. And when I was googling up a picture of Tufte for this, I found this image and I just loved it. Every time you make a PowerPoint, Edward Tufte kills a kitten. So just remember that when you're making PowerPoints. So there's really what people are doing with PowerPoint and what it should be used for. And even the creator of PowerPoint, the original software, makes this distinction. There's some methods or some information that needs to be best given by reports, by a memo. And then there's other information that's best given by by presentation. And most people just kind of crumple these up together into a big ball and make what are called sliduments. They're documents. They're meant to be read at the reader's pace, but really they're just kind of read aloud like a children's storybook little circle at the library, and it's really ineffective, and it's really causes a lot of the boredom that you see in business presentations from the fact that writing an effective report and pitching an effective presentation are two extremely different skill sets. So when I was at EA, and I write about this in the book, I had this terrible presentation where I stood up in front and I pitched this game that my team was working on, and I could tell it was going very poorly. And I won't completely rehash the story because it's in the book. I could tell it's going very poorly, and the executive producers there checking on his BlackBerry, and it just went awful. And I got this advice afterwards that says, you know what, just make a slide. Just excuse me. Here's another rule: turn your phones off when you're going to present, because that's a snafu. Anyway, so the story is basically that the most businessmen are conditioned that PowerPoint presentations are going to be terrible, to only look up every few seconds and read the text on the screen and then go back to playing Angry Birds or checking your email or doing whatever that you do on your phone. And that's crap. That's a waste of everybody's time. And so I made it kind of my MO to kind of change the corporate culture about that. And it's kind of a fool's errand, but now that I'm in a teaching position, I can kind of seed more minds with this, and there's a huge following about this, and a lot of actual cognitive study that backs a lot of this stuff up, of ways to give good presentations, and ways to let your audience know what your message is in a useful way that doesn't make them want to just gouge their eyes out at the end of the day. And so in the book, I have this section of 12 don'ts, and I'm going to kind of go through most of them here. You can read about them more in the book. But another good site to read about presentations is presentationzen.com. That's Gar Reynolds. His book, Presentation Zen, is fantastic and forms the basis of a lot of what I talk about here. So if you're interested in that, there's definitely a lot more to read on the net about that. We're going to be talking some more for the rest of the week about it. But here's some don'ts. So the number one key, super duper top thing that if you only learned one thing about PowerPoint in this class, it would be to don't read slides to people, right? Because they can read very fast. Even people that read slow can probably read faster than you can talk. And so what happens is you start talking about these points, and while people are looking at the slide and not at you, obviously, because the slides don't look back, so it's a lot more comfortable to look at slides. People start reading ahead because they're faster than you. They're not going to sit around and wait for it. And that creates a gap where at the end of the presentation, or at the end of the slide, the whole crowd is just sitting around twiddling their thumbs waiting for you as the presenter to catch up to them. So a lot of times people will just crowd a slide with text. And your salient point that you're trying to make is just lost. And they do that because it's really easy to use your slides as your speaker notes, is to say, oh, well, gee, I don't know what I'm going to say next. Let me look at this next bubble. Oh, yeah, I was going to say this. I was going to say that your slides are there to augment your points, not distract from them. But that's totally ineffectual, because your audience is going to be reading your notes in their mind a lot faster than you can read them aloud, and a lot better. And they're not going to hear your extrapolations on these because they're already reading ahead to the next thing. So don't read your slides aloud, and keep your speaker notes separate and private, so that when you actually do your presentation, your audience is focused on you and your story and your theme, and you are controlling what they're reading about and thinking about, and etc. And by the way, the slide was meant to be ironic. Yeah. So images are really powerful, right? And It's why we use images and billboards. And if you really want to look at the kind of the power of images, look no further than billboards. Next time you're driving, next time you're on the interstate, look at how quickly and how efficiently a billboard can give its message to you. Your eyes only look at it for a second while you're driving, yet it can be clever, it can sell you a product, it can make you think about something, it can inform you. Uh, Billboards are just wonderful presentation tools, and if you're really comparing, kind of, are my slides effective? Use billboards as a barometer. Would this be a good billboard? But the power of images should not be undersold. And when you have a screen projector and a big screen in front of you, you can use that power to your advantage, right? You have the ability to do something that augments your message. It really sells it. So if I was to do something like tell you that smoking causes 13 deaths every hour of every day, that's a pretty hefty value, right? If you think about it. But presenting it in this way is kind of bland and clinical, right? And it really doesn't trigger all parts of your brain. It's just really okay, 13, and then I'm starting to do some math and figuring out how many that is per year. That's kind of not what you want to do. But when you use images, you can bring something that is evocative of different parts of your brain, more of the right brain kind of creative thinking. And there were a bunch of other images I was looking at when I was making this slide, and I was gonna put one of those gruesome ones of like the black deformed lung on there just to kind of give you the shock value of it, but I thought that was a little exploitative, so I didn't end up doing that. But you can understand, like when you see kind of those anti-smoking ads that have that, or the one where they're like pressing out all the fatty goo out of the artery or whatever that one commercial is. You understand that images are powerful and they sell things much better than text can. And conversely, that's kind of why I don't use a lot of text on my slide. Besides the fact that the whole reading ahead is that the people are getting the left brain stuff when they're listening to me, and the right brain stuff is up on the slide, allowing people to kind of use that as a frame of reference for what I'm talking about. So the reason the compass image is on the slide is because I wanted to talk about having a theme. Excuse me. Now, having a theme is super important, but it's not always possible, right? Sometimes your job is to tell everything there is about a certain topic, and in those cases, you may have to meander a bit, and that's unfortunate. But the key of having a theme is always being able to come back to it. So if I was to tell you right now that not reading your slides to people and not having a bunch of text on your screen was important, that helps kind of reinforce my theme of that the power of the presentation is in the presenter, not in the slides. And that if you re-listen to this, you'll see me hitting upon that theme again and again in all of these points. Well, not all, most of these points, because it is so important. If you don't have any sort of theme that you kind of go back to, really you're just kind of reading out of a manual. Oh my God, clip art, clip art, clip art. Don't do it. So this clip art's from PowerPoint. I've seen it in 7,420 different presentations in my life because people think, oh man, that is so awesome for some reason. If they're in the standard clip art distribution, then people have probably seen it already. And if they've seen it already, they think you're lazy. And you don't want them to think you're lazy. You just want them to hear your points. Clip art doesn't augment any sort of message, unless it's a message about clip art, which this is. Clip art is just placeholder imagery. It's content free, and so you really don't want to use it pretty much ever. With the internet today, excuse me, with Google image search and stock exchange photos and all of these resources, there's no reason you can't have evocative imagery that people haven't seen before. And clip art just, it falls in the same category with sound effects, with video clips, with transitions, all these things that are flash and really don't add up to any sort of substantive addition to your message. And transitions, man, they are just the worst. They just, and you know, I'm doing this kind of ironically, right, of having these transitions go back and forth here, but it's they're a waste of time, right? They don't add to your message, and they may be cute and clever looking like the first time you see them, but if you see them after every slide in a 20 slide presentation or a 50 slide presentation, they get old really quickly. And I've lost count of the times that I've been sitting through a presentation and there has to be a pause, a break in kind of the flow of the dialogue here. And you see, I kind of go rapid fire. I very rarely pause to take breaths or drinks. Uh, and if I had to wait for this transition to finish before I continued talking, you can see how that interrupts the flow of the dialogue of what's going on in your presentation. One thing that I found is I always forget about, and so I always have to remind myself, is the legibility of your slides. So in this slide, I have different font points, right, of the sentence. And the bottom one looks really friggin' huge on my monitor, but when I present it, or when I go to present the slide, uh, say in the conference room here at Full Sail, and I stand in the back, this huge line that looks gigantic on my monitor is just barely readable. And you're going to have people in the back of the room. You're going to have people that have poor eyesight in here. So always err on the side of too big rather than too small for many reasons. One, too small encourages you to put more words on your slide, and we don't want that, right? We want less text. But also, you're going to underestimate because your slide window is only going to be so big on your tiny little computer screen that you're going to say, oh, well, that's just way too big, right? But in reality, it might even be too small. So you don't want to be able to give the audience a reason to have to really work to understand your points. And they have to do that if they have to squint. It's really annoying. Slide documents like handouts. So PowerPoint, when you go to print, asks you if you want to do handouts. And handouts are extremely popular. And the problem with handouts is the same problem that you have with text, the looking ahead problem. So if I have all my points on my slides written as text and I print them out and I hand them to you, in the first minute of the presentation, is everybody watching you? No, they're flipping through the handouts, getting your points before you can make them, before you can frame them correctly, and pretty much ruining any chance of people actually paying attention and being engaged for the rest of the presentation. So in a perfect world, these handouts would be completely useless because your slides aren't going to make your points. You're going to make the points. If your slides were there to make your points, it would be better to make a report and email it out to everybody, and they could read it in 10 minutes instead of having to upend their day, come to this conference room, and sit there for an hour and listen to you talk, right? So, which is a better format, a report or a presentation? If you're doing a presentation, then it better damn well be presentation worthy. And I found this on a stock photo site, and I thought it was so ridiculous because I've never seen people this excited at work. And, you know, I've worked in video games. That's supposed to be the most fun industry in the world, right? But the point of it is enthusiasm. Nobody is going to care about your idea if you don't seem like you care about it. And so it can be hard, right? If let's say you're, you know, presenting at 3 p.m. and you're in a food coma, from lunch, and that's just the worst time to present because everybody's falling asleep on you. But the point is that which is going to look better, you know, a priori, with all else being equal. Wow, a priori was totally wrong. It's ceteris paribus I was looking for. Which is going to look right, all else being equal? Somebody that's kind of like, you should present in a thoughtful manner. Next slide. or somebody that actually cares about the topic, or at least looks like they care about the topic, right? I do care about this topic, and that's why I've made it such a large part of this class, because it's so important. But you need to have this kind of zest for what you're presenting, even if it's the monthly sales figures. Uh, you need to show it. In the assignment that we're going to have, you are going to be presenting something, and if you're the kind of person whose delivery is very dry and very straightforward, you need to work out of that box um, because having some enthusiasm for what you're trying to do is important. The flip side of that coin is having false enthusiasm. If I told you about PowerPoint and how awesome it was, like that through the whole presentation, you would pretty much know that I'm phony. And if you present in a phony way, you're going to be labeled as a phony, and your ideas are going to be labeled as not credible. So you want to have the right amount of enthusiasm, and you want to be able to project it onto your audience so that they too are throwing their hands up in the air in this very cheesy photo-like depiction. But the end of it all comes down to don't be boring. People's time is so expensive, especially in the business world. Um, Imagine, and this is not an exaggeration by any means, uh, let's say that everybody in the room makes $100 an hour. I mean, they're all executives or something. So they make $100 an hour, and you have 10 people in the room. If you waste an hour of your time, you've wasted what? Right? $1,000 of company time. You just flushed $1,000 down the drain. Maybe you could have sent out that report as a one-page document and gotten a better result of people paying attention. Don't waste time. Don't waste money. People really resent it. If somebody sees on their calendar, oh, Zach's gonna present about I don't know, about gamification this afternoon. If I have a reputation of being a poor presenter, do you think people are gonna go and listen? No, they're not. The key theme of this is to not be boring and not waste people's time, and that's really the key to PowerPoint. If you have a deep respect for your audience and kind of embrace the golden rule of present at like you wish that you would be presented at, then and wow, their grammar is awful in that sentence. But have this respect for your audience that you don't want to waste your time or their time. Then you'll be all right. You'll make it. So that's the overview, and in the next one, I'm going to show you some examples of some really great presentations, and I'm going to show you a little bit about a very unique presentation type. So you're going to see more about this, and I'm going to try to frame that in the whole kind of video game industry way. So hopefully that'll be interesting to y'all. For the rest for the rest of the week, I have a lot on PowerPoint in here, especially on how-tos. If you've never used PowerPoint before, then you know what, I'm not going to cover it in the video, so you really got to get it in here. I almost talked in front of the book, and you would not be able to hear me. So watch these videos. Last week of playing comments, so good luck on that. I hope you're having fun with those, because I'm having fun with them. And of course I put quiz, but that's totally wrong. Why did I do that? That is totally wrong. Okay, let's fix that right now. Here we go. Okay. Let's fix that. Lamb. That's right. Okay, we don't have a quiz this week. Instead we have an assignment of a PechaKucha. And so you're not going to know what that is until the next video, but you can open up the assignment and read it, and it's going to be a lot of fun, I guarantee. Guarantee not valid in all 50 states. So that's what we got, and I will see you in the next video. Email, IM, Twitter, whatever, that's how you get me.